Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a truly unique legal challenge. This one comes from the High Court of Karnataka. We're working from, actual court documents, the legal arguments laid out. Our mission, really, is to get our heads around a crucial question. How do laws, specifically laws written using, traditional gendered language, apply when the accused? When the accused in a serious sexual offenses case is a woman.
Right.
Especially under something like the POCSO Act.
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting. This specific case, the decision came down August 18th, 2025. It involves an artist, the petitioner in court terms, and she's trying to essentially get the charges thrown out quashed before it even goes to a full trial. The charges are under POCSO Act Sections 4 and 6.
Which usually deal with pretty serious penetrative sexual assault involving children.
Exactly. Now, the complaint was filed by the mother of a 13-year-old boy. She alleges this artist sexually abused her son back in 2020. The boy's account is that the petitioner unrobed both herself and him, asked for intercourse, and then later threatened him.
Now, what adds a layer of complexity here is the timing. This was reported 4 years later.
4 years, wow.
Yeah, after the family had actually moved from India to Dubai and then came back.
That delay is definitely going to be a factor.
For sure. And the court itself even said, this is, quote, one of its kind that has ever come up for interpretation.
You don't hear that often. It signals this is really pushing legal boundaries. And what's fascinating is looking at how the defense built their case. So first, their lawyer makes the point you just raised, that 4-year delay. They argue it makes the whole story highly improbable.
Okay, standard line of argument there, questioning the delay.
Right. And they also highlight the age gap. She was 48, he was almost 14. And they question, where's the immediate evidence of psychological harm? Why did it supposedly take so long to show up if something so traumatic happened?
So challenging the facts, the timeline, the immediate impact. Makes sense.
Yeah, those are arguments about the specifics, the factual matrix, as lawyers might say.
But then, as you hinted, they go a step further. They challenge the law itself, right? What's the core of that argument?
Absolutely, and this is the really striking part. The defense fundamentally questions if Sections 4 and 6 of POCSO can even apply to a woman at all.
How so?
Their argument is essentially a woman cannot rape a man under the current wording of the law. They point out that these POCSO sections, and even the main Indian Penal Code section for rape, Section 375, consistently use male-centric language.
Like using he.
Exactly, using he and specifically mentioning his male organs when describing the act of penetrative assault.
Ah, I see.
So they connect this to the physical act. For penetrative assault, as described, they argue, well, an erection is generally necessary, depending on potency.
Right.
And they note no potency test was done on the boy. But more fundamentally, they argue that if the boy was, as alleged, in a state of shock, then biologically, a physical reaction, like an erection, would likely be impossible, making intercourse, as legally defined with that specific male-centric language, impossible.
So the argument boils down to, the definition in the law uses male terms and describes an act requiring male physiology. Therefore, a woman cannot, legally speaking, commit this specific crime under these specific sections.
Precisely. And that's why they're asking for the charges to be quashed outright, dismissed now.
Not just wait for a trial and hope for an acquittal and not guilty verdict later.
Exactly. They want it stopped before it even gets that far, arguing it's legally flawed from the start.
And the prosecution.
Well, the sources just say the complainant's counsel vehemently refuted these points, but the details of their counter-arguments aren't in the documents we reviewed.
That difference between quashing and acquittal really underscores how deep this challenge goes. It's not just about the facts, but the law's foundation. But couldn't you argue the spirit of POCSO is child protection, regardless of the perpetrator's gender, even if the language hasn't caught up?
And that's the exact tension, isn't it? The defense is pushing for a very strict, almost literal reading of the words on the page. If the statute doesn't explicitly say a woman can be the perpetrator for these specific acts using this specific language, then, they argue, the charge is invalid. It forces the legal system to grapple with the precision of its language versus perhaps the broader intent behind the law protection.
It really makes you think.
Yeah, and this isn't just about this one case. It makes you wonder about other laws, too. How many might have outdated language that struggles with modern understandings of gender, of crime? It questions legal interpretation itself.
Yeah, so wrapping this up, what does this deep dive really show us? It highlights this intense legal debate sitting right at the crossroads of gender, justice, and, well, the very specific words used in our laws, it's quite something to see how deeply embedded gendered language can be in legal texts.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a really important question to ponder, doesn't it? How should our laws evolve? How do they adapt to deal with these complex realities in very sensitive cases? Especially when, like here, the alleged perpetrator's gender seems to challenge the statute's own language.
Yeah.
Does the law need to constantly update its wording to reflect society, or does society have to wait for lawmakers to catch up? It's a fundamental question about law and change.